Welcome to day 105 of the school year. Only 75 school days left. Alright, so let's go ahead and get down our beginning fraction. We have a total of 180 school days, and we are on day 105. So first let's think, is that numerator prime or composite? Well, it ends with a 5, and that means that 5 is a factor, so we automatically have more than two factors, 1 itself and 5. So that means it's composite. And we will need to do our prime factorization, both our denominator and our numerator. So the prime numbers that we mainly use are our first 5, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. 180 is even, so I can divide it by 2 or cut it in half. Half of 18 tenths is 9 tenths. That ends in a 0, so I can divide by 5. I could get 10 fives out of 90, that leaves 40, and I could get 8 fives out of 40. It's even, so I could divide by 2, I get 9. Divide by 3, I get 3. When I get to a prime number, I am done. Okay, this ends in a 5, so 5 is a factor. I could get 20 fives out of 100 and 1 5 out of 5. 2 plus 1 is 3, so 3 is a factor. 3 times 7, 7 is prime, so we are done. Let's go ahead and list our prime factorization from least to greatest. 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. And our numerator, 3 times 5 times 7. Alright, let's see what we have in common here. We have the 3's and the 5's. 3 times 5 is 15, so our greatest common factor is 15, leaving 7 in the numerator. 2 times 2 is 4 times 3 is 12 in the denominator. So at this time, let's go ahead and make our groups of 15. Your groups do not have to look like mine, but they do have to have 15 in each. And you want to keep your shaded separated from your unshaded. I'm doing 10 plus 5, but you could have easily cut this in half and done 3 groups of 5 as well. There's more than one way to group these. So to show what I was saying, you could do 3 groups of 5. As a possible way to make your groups different. This would be more of an array. Alright, we've got our groups of 15. Let's count up our total amount of groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 total groups. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shaded in. Now that I've done my division with my model, I'm going to go ahead and divide with my algorithm. I always want to try to prove it more than one way. Alright, here I'm going to do 10 times 15. It's 150. Numbers the same, zeros a game. More on top, no need to stop. Numbers the same, zeros a game. Bring that 30 up here. 2 times 15 is 30. Numbers the same, zeros a game. Add our partial quotients together. 10 plus 2 is 12. Okay, down here, let's see, I can do, let's try 5 groups. 5 times 15, well, 5 times 10 is 50, 5 times 5 is 25, 50 and 25 is 75. Numbers the same, zeros the game. Here we have more on top, but we really have 10, take away 7, which is 3. Bring that 30 up here. 2 times 15 is 30. Numbers the same, zeros the game. Add our partial quotients together and we get 7. Now we still need to check. Divisor times quotient plus remainder, divisor times quotient plus remainder. Since our remainder is 0 for both, and the identity property of addition says when you add 0 it stays the same, we don't need to take time to add 0. Okay, and on this one, I'm using my commutative property of multiplication. Instead of saying 7 times 15, I can switch and say 15 times 7, which it's much easier to multiply by a single digit than a double digit, if I can choose. 5 groups of 2 is 10. 5 groups of 10 is 5 tens, plus 1 more 10 is 6 tens. Okay, now I'm going to multiply by my tens place. So I put a placeholder down here. 1 group of 10 groups of 2 is 20. 10 groups of 10 is 100. Add together these partial products and I get 180. 7 groups of 5 is 3 tens and 5 ones. 7 groups of 10 is 7 tens plus 3 more tens is 10 tens or 100. 105, that matches our dividend, that checks. 180, that matches our dividend up here, so that checks. So our numerator is definitely 7, our denominator is definitely 12. Alright, let's go ahead and fill in our data collection page. We are in trimester 2, week 10 still. Today is 2/5/2020, and our fraction for today is 7/12. Okay, we did groups of 15, so let's go ahead and get out our number line. Okay, the last one we have is 6/12. That is at the halfway mark, because 6 is half of 12. And then here is 7/12. 7/12 has an equivalent fraction in the 5s and the 3s, because 5 and 3 are both common factors, but 15 was our greatest common factor. So it gave us our equivalent fraction in lowest terms or simplest form. All right, go ahead and put your number line away. Erase your worksheet, and thank you for joining me.